You would be shocked to know that traditionally the Navajos detested snakes and viewed talking about it, and even seeing this creature as a taboo. This Athabascan-speaking Native American tribe is the second most populous indigenous tribe in the United States of America, with an estimated population of 400,000 enrolled members as of 2021. To bring you into the light of amazing discoveries you do not want to miss out on, this video will unveil 9 unknown shocking facts about the Navajo tribe. Don't hesitate to hit the like and subscribe button for more exciting videos. Let's get right into it. In the early 1940s, the US Marine Corps recognized the need for a secure communication system that the enemy couldn't decipher. To achieve this goal, they selected a group of Navajo men who were later recognized as the Navajo Code talkers. These men were able to smartly utilize the complex and unwritten nature of their language to create hundreds of codes that brought nothing but confusion to the enemy. Instead of speaking Navajo directly, the code talkers used a substitution code. Each English letter was replaced with 3 corresponding Navajo words. For example, the letter B could be represented by Navajo words like bear, barrel, and badger. To make the code even more secure, the code talkers created hundreds of code words in Navajo for common military terms, message items, and actions. This meant that even if someone cracked part of the code, the extensive vocabulary made it extremely challenging to understand the entire message. This code, famously known as the Navajo Code, was employed in the Pacific Theater, particularly during crucial battles like the Battle of Iwo Jima. In the Battle of Iwo Jima, the Navajo Code proved exceptionally effective. In the first 2 days of its use, around 800 messages were transmitted without a single error. This remarkable accuracy and efficiency were in stark contrast to the standard codes of the time, which often took up to 30 minutes to transmit a single message. The Navajo Code talkers could relay messages in approximately 20 seconds, providing a significant tactical advantage. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Navajo Code was its secrecy. The code's existence remained classified and top secret until 1968, more than 2 decades after the end of World War II. The Navajo Code talkers' contribution to the war effort was finally acknowledged, highlighting the critical role they played in secure communication and the ultimate success of military operations in the Pacific Theater. Unlike several Native American languages which have suffered a terrible decline in the number of speakers, the Navajo tribe has managed to keep their language strong and thriving amongst others in the United States. The Navajo language holds a distinctive position as the most widely spoken native tribal language in the United States, with approximately 170,000 speakers. Navajo stands out for its stark differences from English or other European languages. It belongs to the Athabascan language family and shares connections with 6 different Apache languages. Additionally, it exhibits linguistic ties to languages spoken in northern Canada and Alaska. One interesting thing about this language is that it's a bit like a word-building puzzle. It's a verb-based polysynthetic language, meaning many meaningful pieces are combined into a single word. This includes details like who's doing the action, how, and when. It has a complex grammar structure with different classes for nouns and verbs. It uses postpositions and particles for various purposes, like adverbs, pronouns, question words, and markers for location, negation, and more. In case you didn't know, fluency in Navajo is a legal requirement for those seeking the office of the Navajo president, showcasing the cultural importance of the language within the governance structure. Religious ceremonies, including traditional Native American church and Pentecostal, predominantly occur in Navajo. Traditional religious beliefs and healing ceremonies remain integral to Navajo culture. More than 10,000 Navajo individuals, also known as Dine, were forcibly removed from their ancestral lands in Arizona and New Mexico to the Bosque Redondo internment camp at Fort Sumner. The forced relocation of the Navajo was a result of the United States government's efforts to address conflicts between Native American tribes and settlers in the southwestern territories. With the discovery of gold and increasing pressure for land, the Navajo and other tribes faced intense pressure to cede their territories. The journey, spanning between 250 and 450 miles depending on the starting point, became known as the Long Walk. The conditions were brutal, with hundreds dying due to exposure, exhaustion, and starvation during the forced march. General Carleton, seeking to quell Navajo resistance, ordered Kit Carson to implement a scorched earth campaign across Navajo lands. This ruthless strategy involved burning villages, slaughtering livestock, destroying fruit trees, and contaminating water sources. The objective was to reduce the Navajo to a state of desperation and starvation, making them more amenable to relocation. Upon arrival at Bosque Redondo, the Navajo faced dire circumstances. The internment camp, intended for both Navajo and Mescalero Apache tribes, lacked adequate resources, leading to widespread suffering. Dysentery, exposure, and starvation claimed the lives of approximately 25% of the Navajo population during the 4 years at the camp. The attempt to assimilate the Navajo into agricultural practices unfamiliar to them failed, exacerbating their suffering. The long walk left an indelible mark on the Navajo nation, causing deep-seated trauma and lasting scars. Families were separated, traditional ways of life were disrupted, and a profound sense of loss lingered for generations. The forced relocation is a stark reminder of the injustices faced by Native American communities during this period. In 1868, the Navajo experienced a pivotal turning point when the U.S. government, recognizing the failure of the Bosque Redondo experiment, signed the Treaty of 1868. This treaty allowed the Navajo to return to a portion of their homelands. The leaders of the Navajo Nation achieved significant success in negotiating this return, ensuring that they could reclaim and rebuild their lives in their ancestral territory. Following their return, the Navajo people faced the monumental task of rebuilding their communities. Despite the hardships endured during the long walk and internment, they demonstrated incredible resilience. One of the numerous things that make the Navajo stand out from other Native American tribes is their exceptional rug-making skills. Their exceptional weaving skills enable them to create one of the finest rugs made out of wool. In the pursuit of exceptional craftsmanship, tribal craftsmen draw upon time-honored techniques like weaving, knotting and looping, traditions transmitted through generations. Throughout the rug-making journey, these methods endure with remarkable consistency. With expertise, artisans carefully manipulate natural fibers like wool and cotton, skillfully crafting elaborate symbols, motifs inspired by wildlife, geometric designs, and intricate textures. The art of Navajo weaving has a rich and storied history, deeply rooted in the cultural fabric of the Navajo people. It dates back centuries, with early evidence suggesting that the Navajo began weaving around the 17th century, likely influenced by neighboring Pueblo communities. Initially, they crafted simple garments, blankets, and utilitarian items, but over time, their weaving evolved into the intricate and highly prized rugs we see today. Traditionally, Navajo weavers use natural materials sourced from their environment. Wool, primarily obtained from the sheep introduced by the Spanish in the 17th century, is the primary fiber. The weavers often handspin the wool and use natural dyes derived from plants, minerals, and insects, showcasing a harmonious connection to the land. The weaving process involves various techniques, including the use of a vertical loom. The weaver creates a foundation by setting up the warp threads vertically, and then the weft threads are woven horizontally. The weaver employs a shuttle to pass the weft through the warp, creating the beautiful patterns characteristic of Navajo rugs. Navajo rug designs are diverse and can be categorized into various styles, each with its unique motifs and meanings. Some common motifs include geometric shapes, animals, plants, and ceremonial symbols. The designs often carry cultural significance, telling stories, representing spiritual concepts, or conveying elements of Navajo cosmology. The famous Navajo Two Gray Hills rugs, for example, are characterized by intricate geometric patterns and earthy tones, reflecting the landscape of the region. Other well-known styles include Tiknospos, Ganado, and Crystal, each originating from different regions and displaying distinct design elements. Creating a Navajo rug is a labor-intensive process that requires skill, patience, and dedication. The weaver typically starts by preparing the loom and carefully setting up the warp threads. The choice of colors and the arrangement of the design are crucial as they contribute to the overall aesthetic and symbolism of the rug. As the weaving progresses, the weaver may need to adjust tension and density to ensure an even and well-crafted rug. The process can take weeks to months, depending on the size and complexity of the rug. Once completed, the rug is often subjected to a finishing process involving washing and sometimes additional treatments to enhance its durability and appearance. In contemporary times, Navajo rugs have gained global recognition as prized works of art. Collectors and enthusiasts appreciate not only the aesthetic beauty of the rugs, but also the cultural depth and skill embedded in each meticulously crafted piece. The legacy of Navajo weaving continues to thrive, ensuring that this traditional art form endures for future generations. This special ceremony, known as the Kina Alder ceremony, serves as a transformative rite of passage for Navajo girls. This is celebrated on the 4th night after the young lady has seen her first menstrual flow. The start of the ceremony begins with the girl changing into the finest attires to reflect the beauty of womanhood. Later, she positions herself face down on a blanket just outside the hogan, aligning her head toward the doorway. If a sister, aunt, or another female relative is nearby, they undertake the symbolic task of reshaping her. This involves straightening her limbs, smoothing joints, and applying pressure to sculpt her physique gracefully. Subsequently, the most diligent and lively women in the vicinity are summoned to fashion the girl's hair into a specific knot and secure it with deerskin strings, known as sklol. A distinctive aspect of the Kina Alder is the girl's participation in a long-distance run. This run symbolizes endurance, strength, and the challenges that come with womanhood. It is often conducted throughout the night and can cover considerable distances. In the 4 days leading up to the ceremony night, everyone sticks to simpler foods like mush and salt-free bread to avoid feeling lazy or developing an unappealing appearance. During this time, the girl is told not to scratch herself to prevent any lasting scars. Inside the hogan, all the women start grinding corn from the first day and keep doing it until the night of the 3rd day. On that night, they turn the ground corn into batter and bake a large corn cake in a hole outside the hogan. It doesn't end there. A medicine man is usually summoned to coordinate the final event of the ceremony, which involves singing and chanting prayers. The mother then brings a bowl filled with yucca suds to wash the girl's hair. Afterward, her head and hair are dried using cornmeal. The girl then embarks on her final run towards the east, accompanied by numerous young children, symbolizing her future role as a nurturing mother, always followed by her children. While she's away, the hatal, also known as the medicine singer, performs 8 songs, commonly referred to as the racing songs. Upon her return, a large corn cake is presented, sliced and shared among the gathering. Afterward, everyone disperses, and the girl is free to loosen her hair and enjoy any food of her choice once again. Navajo sand painting is a sacred and intricate art form deeply rooted in the spiritual traditions of the Navajo people. It holds great significance in healing ceremonies, where it is used to invoke blessings and restore balance to individuals or the community. Sand paintings are created as a part of healing ceremonies, known as sing, performed by Navajo medicine men or ceremonial specialists known as singers. These ceremonies address various aspects of health, well-being, and harmony, involving intricate rituals accompanied by chanting and prayer. The designs in sand paintings are highly symbolic, representing spiritual beings, deities, or natural elements. Each element in the sand painting carries a specific meaning, and the overall composition is carefully crafted to convey a harmonious and healing energy. Sand paintings are meticulously created using finely ground, naturally colored sands. The colors are derived from crushed rocks, minerals, and other natural pigments. The artist pours the sand onto a horizontal surface, often a ceremonial ground or wooden platform, using various tools like yucca brushes and feathers. After the successful completion of the sand painting, the individual in need of healing sits on top of a completed sand painting. It's like they're connecting with a portal created by the intricate designs of the painting. The idea is that this sand painting serves as a way for healing spirits to come through and help the person. The person becomes part of this spiritual connection, sitting directly on the artwork. During this ritual, the focus is on removing the sickness or imbalance affecting the individual. The sand painting acts like a container, absorbing and holding onto these negative energies. After the healing is done, the belief is that the spirits return to the sand painting, now carrying away the illness. So the sickness is thought to be transferred or contained within the painting. That's why, at the end of the ceremony, the sand painting is intentionally destroyed. This destruction isn't about ruining the artwork. It's a symbolic way of releasing the illness back into the spiritual realm. It cleanses the space and emphasizes the temporary nature of the physical representation, highlighting the transformative power of the healing process. It's important to note that while you can buy art labeled as sand paintings, those are different. The ones used in healing ceremonies have a deeper purpose and are destroyed as part of the ritual, making them distinct from commercial artworks. The Navajo Nation, rich in uranium deposits, became a focal point for mining activities. The surge in demand for uranium during the 1950s and 1960s led to a boom in mining operations on Navajo lands. This industry promised economic development for the Navajo people, but came at a tremendous cost. Many Navajo miners, often unaware of the health risks, were exposed to dangerous levels of radioactive materials during the extraction and processing of uranium. Inhalation of radioactive dust and exposure to contaminated water sources led to severe health consequences, including lung cancer, kidney disease, and other respiratory ailments. In the early days of uranium mining, there were inadequate safety measures in place. Miners worked without proper protective gear, and the lack of knowledge about the long-term effects of uranium exposure contributed to the severity of health issues. The environmental impact of uranium mining on Navajo lands was substantial. Radioactive tailings and waste were often left uncontained, contaminating soil and water sources. Even after the decline of uranium mining in the region, the legacy persisted. Abandoned mines without proper remediation continued to pose environmental hazards. The Navajo Nation faced the challenge of dealing with the aftermath, struggling to address the environmental degradation left behind. Several people ended up with severe illnesses, including cancer. Unlike the usual teepees used by several Native American tribes, the Navajo dwelling place is known as the hogan. The hogan is a circular or octagonal dwelling made from materials readily available in the Navajo homeland, such as logs and earth. Traditional hogans are constructed with a framework of logs that create a domed structure. The exterior is then covered with a layer of earth, forming the walls and roof. The distinctive architectural design ensures stability and insulation, making it suitable for the harsh desert climate of the Navajo Nation. There are two main types of hogans, the ceremonial or sacred hogan and the everyday or secular hogan. The ceremonial hogan is used for spiritual and healing rituals, while the everyday hogan serves as a more conventional living space. Traditional hogans are typically built with their entrance facing east. This alignment is significant in Navajo cosmology, as the east symbolizes the direction of the rising sun, which is associated with new beginnings, life and light. Constructing a hogan involves a ceremonial process, including a blessing ceremony performed by a Navajo medicine man. This ritual is intended to invoke the protection and blessings of the holy people, ensuring the well-being of the household residing in the hogan. In the Navajo matrilineal system, a person's clan identity and membership are determined by their maternal lineage. This means that individuals inherit their clan membership from their mother, and this connection holds significant cultural and spiritual importance. Properties and wealth are often passed down through the maternal line in Navajo families. This contrasts with patrilineal societies where inheritance typically follows the father's lineage. The matrilineal approach emphasizes the role of women in preserving and transmitting family assets. In essence, motherhood is highly valued in Navajo culture, and mothers are often seen as central figures in the family and community. The matrilineal system extends to leadership roles, where influential women can hold positions of authority and decision-making power. Women in Navajo society are often regarded as keepers of tradition and cultural knowledge. They play a crucial role in passing down customs, stories, and rituals to the younger generations, reinforcing the continuity of Navajo heritage. In Navajo matrilineal society, it is common for a newly married couple to reside near or with the wife's family. In these profound facts surrounding the Navajo tribe, you will realize that beneath the surface of what we think we know, there's always more to discover and appreciate. Do like this video and hit the subscribe button for exclusive access to our wealth of videos. Thanks for watching.